Welcome, welcome. Well, today I am going to be discussing the Goncalves family and how instrumental they were in providing us a lot of information from the very beginning. Kaylee's sister was able to get the, food truck video footage, the Uber details, as well as a neighbor's Ring camera video. We could only hope to have such great advocates like these fighting for us. And I think it is because of them that we have the information that we do have about this case. We also got some insight on who Kaylee was and how she was a very driven, smart go-getter, as well as she was very sweet and enjoyed, pranking people, and she did not have a problem at all power calling you regardless of what time it was, day or night. So I get the impression that she was just this really warm person that connected with the people that she loved. Another thing that Kaylee's sister said was that she was very vigilant, safety conscious. She had a good head on her shoulders. And I know I mentioned this in another video, but one of the interviews that Olivia had was that the girls did do things that were recommended for safety. They did do the buddy system. They did do, Ubered when they were going to be drinking. So they did all the right things. I remember at one of the press conferences, the police, were asked, what could we do to protect ourselves? What should we be doing? And everything that he listed, the girls were doing that. But still, there are things that were going on that unfortunately made them more vulnerable. They did live in a house with several other people, and there were a lot of people in and out, and a lot of people who had access one way or the other. The front door had, a code to get in. Lots of people had that code. And how do you control that? I mean, they trusted their friends, but who's to say that code didn't get into the wrong hands? They left the back door always open so that people could come in and out. And we're talking about a little town that hasn't seen a murder in over 7 years. So people become more and more relaxed. A college town, kids aren't thinking about that. They're thinking about everything that they have going on. And all of these students were all very active in their community. They went to the university. They had jobs. They belonged to sororities and fraternities, as well as social media. So they got a lot of attention. And in a small town, everybody kind of runs across each other's paths. One thing that was mentioned as well is that Kaylee had talked about having a stalker, somebody that bothered her. Again, she was doing the right thing. She was traveling with groups of friends, and they were aware of this. But Kaylee's sister said that they never heard Kaylee mention that at all. And that they were very, very close. So in their minds, they thought if she had a stalker, we'd hear about it. But maybe Kaylee didn't want to worry them, and so she might have kept that from them. Kaylee's mom and sister both gave us a lot of information about Kaylee and Jack's relationship. That they were on a break. Kaylee initiated it. There was no animosity. They were going to be getting back together, and they supported Jack D, Decor, 1,000%. He was 2,000% a part of their family, and he's 100% innocent. She was moving to Texas, and she was planning on taking the dog. I did mention that there was an ad that she put out for a roommate in Texas for about a 6 month lease, and that she would have this dog with her. And Kaylee was living at home, and the mother had reported that Kaylee spoke with Jack every day. And so her family is reporting that they knew of absolutely no threat of a stalker or any sort of boyfriend issues, um, any sort of threat of danger. So as you can imagine, I mean, this has just left them shattered. And they have speculated a bit on who could have done this. They don't give names, but they do believe Kaylee's mom, thinks that it is somebody that is very, close to him, that knows them. And she is really concerned that this person is going to end up coming to, any sort of vigil or memorial that they would have for Kaylee. She does believe that certain people were cleared right away. And let me remind you, they were the roommates, the Uber driver, Jack D, and the white hoodie guy. Olivia also agrees with that, is that she believes it's somebody close to them, but not necessarily in their really tight circle, somebody a little bit more on the periphery that she believes is maybe starting to act suspiciously. But then she also does say, is this just a sister's and father's intuition? From the beginning, this family has expressed their frustrations. Olivia did such a good job of really providing a real tight timeline, and the police were trying to kind of keep that a little bit more vague. And it may only be the difference between, like, the police 1:45 is when everybody showed up, and Olivia really wanted them to say, okay, no, the girls didn't get there until I think it was 1:56 a.m. And those little details can add up, and that's what she really wanted to kind of make sure those details were being paid attention to. She also expressed that time that, we've all heard, the first 48 hours is critical. And so in one hand, they're frustrated. In another hand, they're very, very understanding that the police are overwhelmed. They're, dealing with a lot. But she feels like the families are the ones that are continuing to push the agenda. So again, are we dealing with the police dropping the ball, or are we dealing with the expectations are unrealistic? So that's where she's feeling, the families really have continued to keep this story alive. Another frustration is from Steve, Kaylee's dad, and that is, okay, you're saying this person, you don't believe that they're involved. What harm is it in sharing their alibi? You're saying you don't see them involved, but you're not explaining why, and that has become a real source of tension. They feel like the information that they have gotten has been very, very vague. They were told that there was a target, but the police are not telling them who that target is. You could start seeing, like, the pressure building with Steve Goncalves, where he starts dropping clues. he starts saying, I'll cut to the chase. The deaths don't match, that sort of thing. And we're like, what's going on? What does he mean? What does he mean? And he's just, you can tell the pressure is building, and he's feeling this desperation. He expressed fear that these detectives are going to, that this case is going to go cold. Even though the police do not appreciate his interactions with the media, he believes that this is what's necessary in order to find his daughter's killer. At the memorial that they had for all of the students, Steve did also drop the detail that Kaylee and Maddie were in the same room, and they were killed together. He did tell News Nation's Brian Enton that Kaylee's injuries were a lot more significant than the others. And at that point, he didn't go into too much detail about it, but eventually he did. I think that it's a mixture of frustration and being like, it seems like maybe if he drops details, maybe that's when he gets a little bit more interaction with the police. They start, trying to calm him down and tell him something or whatever. But I really feel like he's hurting. They all are hurting. And everybody reacts a little bit differently, but you can tell this family, they're hands-on people. They need to be doing something. And by doing that, it makes I think no matter what, they're always going to feel that pain. I think by keeping focused on this, it's helping them at least feel like they are doing something. And these are people that really do feel like they need to be doing something for their daughter. I think that once the killer is found, then they can grieve. Then they can face all of that pain, and maybe that's why they're kind of trying to push and keep busy, keep involved, so that they're not going to have to deal with that. But eventually, once it all settles, then they can actually grieve properly for their baby. So anyways, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and be careful. Love the people around you, and I hope you have a great day.